Have you ever noticed how, despite all the fancy travel options, so many Singaporeans still keep going back to Malaysia? I mean, we're talking about a country just across the causeway. No Eiffel Tower, no Tokyo skyline, no Swiss Alps, and yet, Malaysia continues to be the go-to destination for Singaporeans year after year. Why? Well, stick around, because what's really pulling people in might just surprise you. First off, let's talk about the obvious one: food. But not just any food. We're talking about RM4 nasi lemak that actually tastes like it came from your grandma's kitchen. Spicy sambal, fluffy rice, crispy ikan bilis. Singapore has its own version, sure. But somehow, the moment you cross into JB, that same plate just hits different. Now here's a question: when was the last time you paid under $5 for a meal that made you this happy? But it's not just about the prices. It's about the feeling. That Kapitium uncle calling you boss, the auntie asking if you want lebi sambal. It feels real, it feels warm, and honestly, it feels like home. Mini hook, and guess what? That's only scratching the surface. Let's talk about experiences. You'd think with Singapore being so modern, people would crave Europe or the US for holidays. But Malaysians? They're offering something that those countries can't. Soul. In 2025, you've got Singaporeans flocking to places like Kuala Selangor for fireflies, Kuantan for surfing, and Penang for its unbeatable street art and hawker culture. We're not just talking about city breaks anymore. Singaporeans are looking for authentic getaways, and Malaysia is nailing it. Pop quiz: where can you go from beach to rainforest to a world-class city in the same day? Yeah, you guessed it. And the roads? So much better than they used to be. The highways are smoother, rest stops are cleaner, and those RFID tolls actually work now. Imagine going from JB to Penang without stressing about touch and go anymore. For Singaporeans who love driving, that's a dream come true. Oh, and the shopping? Let's be honest. Half of Singapore is in Mid-Valley on a weekend. You've got big-name brands, local designers, and prices that make your wallet smile. But what's even cooler is this: Malaysians are starting to really champion their own culture and products. Take Batik Boutique, Anabu, or Duck. These aren't just Malaysian brands, they're statements of identity. Singaporeans are loving that sense of story behind the products. It's no longer just about the price tag, it's about being part of something meaningful. Now here's a quick question to reset your focus. Would you rather go somewhere fancy, or somewhere that feels like it sees you, understands you, and welcomes you? You see, one thing that keeps drawing Singaporeans back is the people. Malaysians have this warmth, this natural hospitality that doesn't feel scripted or transactional. You walk into a kampung homestay and suddenly, you're part of the family. Aunties making laksa, uncles telling you about the time he met P. Ramlee, and the kids are teaching you to play konkak. That kind of genuine connection? You don't find it everywhere. Mini twist, and here's something most people overlook: Malaysia is evolving fast. In 2025, cities like Kuala Lumpur and Johor Bahru are transforming. You've got green tech parks, AI-driven public transport, and startups popping up everywhere. Yet they're keeping their cultural identity intact. That's rare. That's powerful. And Singaporeans notice. We often hear about people going overseas to find themselves, but for many Singaporeans, crossing into Malaysia is more like remembering who they are. Malaysia doesn't pretend to be perfect, but it's proud of its Rojak identity, its unity and diversity, its mix of tradition and ambition. And that pride? It's contagious. Fun fact break: did you know that Malaysia was recently voted one of the top 10 most hospitable countries in Asia for 2025? Not because of fancy hotels, but because of people. Everyday people. And guess who's loving it? That's right, your neighbors from Singapore. And then there's the language. Singlish and Manglish? Practically cousins. Bahasa Melayu? Half the time, you already know what people are saying. It's like slipping into a pair of comfy slippers. Familiar. Easy. No pressure. Even the little things matter. Like getting your favorite old school snacks from the Pazer Malam. Or hearing your favorite 90s Malay pop song while waiting in line for Sendal. These are the moments that stick. Quick question for you: what's your favorite thing to do in Malaysia? Drop it in the comments. Who knows, maybe you'll inspire someone else's next weekend trip. And hey, let's talk about the ringgit. Yeah, we can't ignore that. In 2025, with the exchange rate still pretty favorable for Singaporeans, you're getting more value across the board. Staycations in SG? Nice, but expensive. A 3D2N trip to Langkawi with massages, seafood, and a beach view? Sometimes cheaper than a Sentosa staycation. But here's the kicker: Singaporeans aren't just visiting anymore. Some are buying property. Others are doing hybrid remote work from Penang or Ipoh. A few are even retiring in Malaysia, especially in places like Malacca and Johor. Not because it's cheap, but because it's peaceful. And Malaysia? She's opening her arms. Mini hook: now think about this, when your neighbor's house is warm, lively, full of food and laughter, don't you want to visit more often? That's what Malaysia feels like in 2025. It's the country where you can eat like royalty without spending like one. Where you can wake up by the sea and fall asleep in the hills. Where a stranger becomes your tour guide, and your tour guide becomes a friend. Malaysia isn't trying to be flashy. It's being real. And that, honestly, is the biggest flex. So, the next time someone asks, why do Singaporeans keep going to Malaysia? Just smile. Because you know the answer goes way beyond petrol prices and shopping. It's about heart. If you've made it this far, tell me in the comments, what's your most unforgettable Malaysia moment? Was it a meal, a road trip, a festival, or something totally unexpected? And hey, if this video brought back some memories or made you want to plan your next trip, give it a like, share it with a fellow travel buddy, and subscribe for more stories that celebrate the places we love. Until then, jumpa lagi, and selamat jalan.